Oh crap. Yeah, I just realized though my mic wasn't on. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this is the 835th episode and the 729th 29th double shot. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to repeat the names of these people because my mic was off. Jan Amanius, Carl Kistler, Keith Campaign, who also was one of the artists, John Ariti, Paul Benjamin, Abby Johnson, Stuart Moore. Artwork: Alex Kale, Roman Bish, Sean Mall, Val Schmitz, Victor Abazila, Andy Lenning, Chris Justice, Colin Glover, and Mark Irwin. The cover art is done by Adi Gaurav, Mike Didel Jr., and Paul Alefi, and the Fear Itself one shot, which is collected in here. Written by Stuart Moore and artwork by Joe Suter. Yeah. Probably collected most of the stories from the first 3 issues of Mason and Family, plus the Fear Itself one shot. Yeah. Yeah, but there was a backup feature in here called Private Lives Peter Parker. Yeah, that's featuring I think it's a similar idea to that of the Private Life of Clark Kent from the Super Family series from the 80s. It's a very similar idea. Yeah, the first one just kind of a partially like what happened with Peter, like not long after the death of Ben Parker. Yeah, just him probably around like the first week or two of his time as Spider-Man, and Flash, of course, being a jerk as always. Also, yeah, just like Amazing Fantasy 15, he has that same sweater. Yes, not kidding about that. Liz Allen notes that Flash Thompson is being a jerk like usual, despite the fact that, yes, Liz Allen does know for a fact that Peter is grieving because his uncle was murdered less than a week ago, probably at this point, and Flash is being his usual jerky self. Yeah, of course, they're all grieving. It's a really good story. And of course, they even have a little touching moment of Liz basically talking to him later. The final chapter, this is about the Monkey Spider-Man. As far as I know, this Spider-Man did not show up in either Spider-Verse or Spider-Gaiden, or any kind of Spider-Man type of story. Yeah, this is just, a monkey version of Spider-Man going through this. Pretty much the same type of stuff that the 616 Spider-Man went through. There is a standalone story featuring Aunt May. Yeah, trying to be, help people out without the absence of Spider-Man. The next one is just basically, apparently happened 3 years to present day, where this one guy who was a bodega bandit apparently can't get a job because stuff gets filled, stuff like that. I have heard this is partially true in real life, where people sometimes when they file for positions and they couldn't get the job because the job gets filled. Yeah, that kind of happened to me when I tried to file for a position, when I filed an application for Winn-Dixie, and they apparently couldn't afford to put me in the payroll. Yeah. So this is actually partially based on real life circumstances that happen to people. Some people are underqualified or overqualified, whatever position they apply for. But yeah, it's a really good story. And of course, the side thing is Spider-Man versus the Shocker. Yeah, in terms of the guy became a little homeless, and Peter took a picture and talked to Daniel Bennett. Those of you who don't know who the heck this guy is, they don't show him here, they show back of his head. Daniel Bennett. Okay, in 2007, yeah, that's him in the shadow. In 2007, right after One More Day happens, Peter gets in an argument with Jameson over money. Jameson has a heart attack, and then, gnawing out the words, Marla Jameson, which for some reason the artist decided to age her up 20 years for absolutely no reason. Yeah, despite the fact she's been frequently shown over the years, still looking like she's probably in her 30s. And yet she shows up here, she looks like she's aged 20 years for really no reason at all. Yeah, I've never heard an explanation for this. And yeah, at this point in time, Jameson became mayor. This happened in 2009 of all things. Bennett himself bought the deal from Jameson in 2007, bought all of his shares, and pretty much Bennett basically ran the newspaper into the ground by switching from being a newspaper to a gossip mag. Yeah, printing stories about concrete proof, like calling jackpot crackpot. Yeah, He got flack for that particular story. Yeah, he got flack for publishing that story from the U.S. government. Yes, because he published a story that was completely untrue. Making up a gossip rag was probably the dumbest decision he made with the Daily Bugle. He didn't even call it Daily Bugle, called it DB. No idea why in the world they did that for. Eventually, during the events of the Gauntlet, the original Daily Bugle building gets destroyed by frickin' Electro. Yes, Electro destroys the original building. A building that's been there since the 60s. And this was a building designed by the late Steve Ditko himself, and it gets destroyed by a Steve Ditko creation, Electro. Yeah. Then, of course, Betancourt disappears from comics after that. He just never show up again. There is a reference in Spirit Spider-Man where Jameson was mayor. He basically purchased, he bought back the shares that his wife Marla inadvertently sold to Bennett to get him out, to get the thing back, and he gave the shares to Robbie to turn the front line to the new Daily Bugle. Yep. Probably people cleaning up the city of homeless. Yeah. His next one, what Paul mentioned, it's just basically Peter trying to show up an interview, villains interfere, and he misses an interview. And the next one just basically focuses on Peter basically fantasizing about beating up Flash Thompson, and of course, saving someone. He basically inadvertently sent a guy to the hospital who was driving a bodega, and yeah, the guy did get help, and yeah, he turned his life around. Yeah. It's a really touching story of basically people affected by Spider-Man. Despite the bogus stuff people do. Yeah. The last one for this was done by Colleen Clover. Yeah. Fantastic artwork. I actually really enjoy this artwork. It's kiddie-ish, but it's fine. It's just a story on Spider-Man. Okay. Believe it or not, in the Spider-Guy-Dan story, they actually brought this character back. She actually is a featured character in the story. Yeah, Spider-Man, believe it or not, is May Parker. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. It's frickin' May Parker. Yeah, this one-shot character appeared in this very story, popped up in Spider-Man-Guy-Dan. Yeah, they have this really cool story featuring Spider-Man basically battling a blizzard, going on a subway train. Yeah, it's a really good one. The Fear Itself one is just, well, Spider-Man encountering Man-Thing in the Everglades. One of the many times he encountered him. Oh, in case you ask, has Man-Thing ever met the Lizard? Yes, he has. I think it was Giant Size Spider-Man #1. That was the first time these two ever met. Yeah, that's when Man-Thing first met the Lizard. Actually, it wasn't #1. It was in either 3 or 4. It was one of the Giant Size books. That was the first time these two ever met. Just a nice little story of Peter in the past, young Peter, kind of basically not exactly referencing the events of that particular time. It's just basically kind of one of his earliest encounters with Man-Thing. That's really what Fear Itself is. It's a nice little story. I'm going to get this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good set of stories, and I do recommend it. Okay? So yeah, that's it for this review. Stay tuned for my next episode where I'm talking about 2 more Spider-Man trades for episode number 837. Right? I just want to be sure about this. This is correct. Go away, please. Yeah, it'll be episode 836 and 729. Okay? Yeah, it's particularly very weird. My brain is kind of screwed up here. Yeah, eventually I'm going to fix it, but yeah, it'll be probably 729. Okay? But see you next review. Bye.